Welcome to FFC Top 3, a show where we, your FFC hosts, count things down from 3 to number 1. Thank you for joining us this week. If you have a suggestion, you know where to hit us up on Twitter, at our Gmail account, or even in our Discord if you have an idea for us to go through. This week, we're discussing our top 3 cookies, which is pretty appropriate because I don't know about you guys, but my family, instead of doing Christmas presents, a lot of times we do cookie plates for each other. And so 'tis the season, even though we just got past Christmas, but I still have cookies all over the place.
I mean, cookies are a pretty popular thing for us too, but it's not like we're not doing cookie plates, at least, no. But pretty popular for the family.
Yeah.
Because nothing but bakers in this family. I'm one of the weird ones that cooks for some reason.
Well, I'm glad you cook instead of just bake, because pizza all the time would suck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Blue, I think I'm going to make you go first this week.
Okay.
What's your number 3?
My number 3 is kind of a toss-up. It's a sugar or white chocolate macadamia nut.
Those are very different cookies.
Yes. But they're both number 3.
Okay. Short and sweet. Beard, what's your number 3?
Number 3 would actually be, this is going to be kind of weird, but a chocolate chip cookie.
Why is that weird?
It's weird because it's like, not higher on the list for the most part. You'd think it would be because, it's chocolate chip and all, but no. I like chocolate chip cookies, but I like other things much better.
Right. Yeah, I get that. Chocolate chip actually didn't even make my list because I'm actually not a big fan of them. But I'm the weird one who has a lot of kind of plain ones. So, like, my number 3 is a shortbread or like a thumbprint cookie, where you have like a little bit of jelly in the center of it, but it's a real dry type shortbread cookie on the outside. Right. Those are super yummy.
Actually, I think I have a partial box of those right now as we speak, so I know what you mean.
Those with tea, like a nice glass of hot tea, and
super. So that's
yummy.
Cheating because now you're combining things. That's not just the cookie, doggone it.
Most of your cookies are going to go with milk, but shortbread cookies go so much better with tea. Blue, what's your number 2?
Snickerdoodle.
Mine too.
Mine too. This is a problem.
Yes, because cinnamon is amazing.
Yes, cinnamon is delicious, but this is winding out to be an extremely short episode because all of us seemingly have the same number 2. Oh dear.
But okay, is it Snickerdoodle like homemade Snickerdoodles, or is it like, could you get the Snickerdoodle from the store and be happy with it?
Well, you're talking to someone who doesn't eat sweets on a regular basis, so I'd be happy. I mean, obviously, home-baked cookies are going to taste better. Like, I don't think many people will argue with that.
Right.
But I'm happy eating. If I'm going to eat a cookie, if it's store-bought or if it's home-baked, to me, it doesn't like for Snickerdoodle and like sugar or white chocolate, like those, it's like, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's really hard to mess them up. Now my number 1 you can mess up, but like that one I've not really ever had it. I don't want to say I've never had a bad Snickerdoodle, but I don't remember having a bad Snickerdoodle. Like, it's a sugar cookie. It's really hard. Like, you have to actively try to mess that up.
Right. Here's a question for you, though.
What a timer is.
The timer, what?
Just don't know what a timer is.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I mean, like, if you burn the light out of it, like that. Yeah.
Burn the light out of it. I see what you did there.
Like the burnt edges.
I was going to say something else, and I changed the word at the last minute to the first thing that came to mind.
That's fair.
Here's an important question for you two, just to kind of fill out the episode a little bit. Do you prefer your cookies to be crispy or soft or a little gooey, or like what is the perfect texture, I guess, of cookie.
It depends on the cookie. Like it depends on what type, like snickerdoodle or like I was saying, like sugar cookies. Like I mean, I kind of prefer them to have a little bit of like not necessarily doughiness, but I don't like them to be like I don't like biting into glass. If that makes sense. Like I don't like breaking my teeth eating a cookie. I mean, like I'll eat shortbread because that's what shortbread to me is like that hard,
crisp.
that crisps. Yeah, I don't mind it, but I don't like that for like if I'm gonna go for a sugar cookie, I would like it to be like a cookie, like a fresh baked cookie. It's usually not very brittle, but yeah I mean some cookies I could. Like I said, shortbread, I expect it to be brittle. So I've actually had shortbread that's not brittle, and it's really weird.
Oh, yeah.
Really weird. I
Almost
did not like it. Yeah, I didn't like it because it was, like, I'm a big texture person, and if I'm eating shortbread and I bite into it and it doesn't have a crunch, my brain doesn't cooperate with that.
Right. What about you, Beard?
Not very gooey, but softer, yes. Harder is definitely not the greatest for, one, my teeth, and two, just for the way that they generally taste. I feel like they have a little bit more flavor if they're a little softer versus very stiff, especially, or very gooey. Because I think the gooiness just tastes a little bit too much like cookie dough and cookie batter. And that just kind of oversaturates it a little bit too much.
However, no bake cookies, if you like those. I have had crispy ones of those, and it's really weird. Like,
yeah,
when they use like the egg noodles, it's not egg noodles, but
I have no idea how this person. It wasn't bad. My brain got flipped over because like it was a no bake cookie, and it's very obvious when you get a no bake cookie, like how it just looks. It's just very obvious. And I bit into it, and it actually had a crunch. And my brain just was like, I don't know what I just put in my mouth because that's not what I was expecting.
There's a certain type of like crunchy noodle. It's a brown crunchy noodle that you can use in no bake cookies that gives it a crunch.
Okay,
it's not bad.
Excuse me, that might have been it. I don't know. The guy that had brought him in. He's always like trying out new stuff, so it might have been something. Excuse me.
Yeah, probably. Here's an important distinction for me. I like my cookies soft, but I don't want them chewy. Because you can get the Mrs. Fields cookies. You feel like you're just chewing on them like almost jerky. Not quite rubbery. To that extent.
You don't like rubbery ones? Yeah.
I don't like rubbery ones. I don't want it to be... I don't want to have to work for it.
If you throw it on the ground, it should not return to your hand.
No. All right, so we've kind of pushed it back far enough since everybody had number 2 is Snickerdoodle. What's your number 1, Jay?
Mine is oatmeal raisin.
And disgusting.
Yep. It's a very I find it interesting that one is such a divisive cookie, to be honest. I just find it interesting. The big reason is because, like I said, I'm not really big on sweets. I'm really not a huge fan of chocolate, just in general. So chocolate chip cookies. I mean, don't get me wrong. A home baked chocolate chip cookie, fresh baked. I mean, there's nothing really you can beat. Like it's. Regardless of if you like chocolate or not, that's just like that sensation, the smell, everything is just really good. But oatmeal raisin, and that's one of the ones that like, it's really weird, but you can really mess up an oatmeal raisin cookie really easily if you don't know what you're doing. Which is why, like I had said earlier, like this one, I really prefer to have it home baked, and I prefer to have it home baked from people who know what they're doing with it. I've had some really cool combinations. One of the guys I work with, he does a lot of different baking stuff, and he'll bring in like I think the one that he brought in the other day was a chocolate chip, or not a chocolate chip, a oatmeal raisin and cinnamon cookie.
Okay.
And I've tried in the past like an oatmeal raisin coffee cookie. which was really good. Like just the different type of spices is really, it's like there's some really cool combinations that I've tried with oatmeal raisin. But oatmeal raisin I really like because it's got just the like right amount of sweetness, but it's not like that candy. It's not like candy sweetness. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. Fun fact, that's my dad's favorite cookie too.
Yeah, and chat's doing the same thing. Like it's so
dry mouth, yeah.
It is so interesting to me how divisive oatmeal raisin cookies are. Like I'm like in the weird minority camp of like I like them, and I mean I like them. That's why they're my number one. But I'm not going to be like yelling at someone. I've actually seen people get in argument, like yelling arguments about oatmeal raisin cookies. It's like the weirdest thing. You either hate it or you like love them. And I'm in this kind of weird thing of like, if I'm going to eat a cookie, I would prefer it to be oatmeal raisin, but I'm not going to like turn down other cookies.
Right.
I don't know. I find some of the weird diversive things just sometimes really interesting.
They're also one of the rare ones. Like you never see anybody bring oatmeal raisin cookies to like an office party or something like that.
Yeah, and that might be part of the reason I like them so much is because it's so hard to find them in like cookie plates, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. Beard, is yours just as like unique? Or is
Not
it
really?
No?
No. Because it's pretty much anything with coffee.
A cookie with coffee. See, this is actually something I've never had.
Yeah, if you like cook, if you put coffee in with cookies, they're delicious. Like chocolate chip and coffee, still one of my favorites. Snickerdoodles and coffee also actually works very well because it's like offset by the sugar and the tart and so on.
Okay,
works out pretty well. There's a few different mixtures that I kind of like, but the couple I can definitely think of are like the chocolate chip and coffee. That works very well.
So do you do coffee grounds or do you actually mix like brewed coffee in with it? 'Cause I've heard of people doing both.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you can easily do both. Personally, I prefer it to just be like put it in with the mixture because it's a little bit more of like liquid being saturated in with the mixture that you're putting together and then baking. It just seems like it
so
comes
you like
better.
doing the brewed coffee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, personally.
Okay. Trying to think, it's just that still baffles me because I don't think I've ever had a coffee flavored or coffee enhanced cookie of any sort.
Oh my god! Yeah, you need to fix that.
You gotta
oh
fix
my
that.
god! Like I said, like Beard said, actually, it's coffee is it. I don't know what it is, but it really like, and it doesn't matter if it's coffee grounds or the brewed coffee. Most of the time, especially like store bought cookies, it's gonna be like coffee grounds, but it's not like you're chewing on coffee ground. Like I know that kind of sounds weird, but it actually like accentuates the flavor. Like it actually enhances the flavor somehow.
I can see that.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
I did try a coffee flavored mead last night at a Christmas party I went to.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was more like a stout is what it kind of tasted like more than anything. It wasn't bad. I don't think I would drink it.
Coffee stouts, so that makes sense.
It's not something I would drink all the time, but it was interesting.
You got to have a mood for that.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah, it kind of goes along though with like my favorite pastry as well. If I don't know if we'll ever get to that episode, but like for me, I still like coffee cakes or coffee rolls more than most else. Mm-hmm. So that's just me.
Writing down favorite pastry right now.
If it's coffee, I will probably eat it.
Okay. So coffee is a pretty strong flavor. My number one's also a strong flavor. And it's something I got introduced to once I was married to Julie. It's her grandmother's recipe for what's called molasses cookies.
Oh my god, yes.
And it's got that nice, almost ginger snap taste to it.
Yeah.
But we also add Red Hots to it, so it's got even more cinnamon bite. It's so good.
Oh,
so good.
That sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm. It is
the cool thing about molasses cookies too. Again, this is just my big thing, is like the texture of them.
Oh yeah,
like
they
that's
tend to be
really
super
cool.
moist.
Mm-hmm.
I like them a lot. I never had ever had them until probably our second year that we were together. She made them for Christmas for a cookie plate that we were doing, and I was like, okay, I need you to stop what you're doing and make another batch just for us, because this is not going anywhere. It is super yummy. And I never thought I would be a big fan of molasses, because I'm not a big fan of gingerbread, because it tends to be too dry and hockey puck-ish, because you want to use it as a building material half the time.
Depends on the gingerbread.
Right. But the molasses cookies are super, super yummy.
Not my gumdrop buttons.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. All right, so it is a little bit shorter of an episode than we have had. Next week...
It happens.
Yeah, it does.
It happens.
Next week might be a little bit longer. Mainly because I'm going to force you two to do something I don't think you would normally do.
Oh no.
And it's going to
If
be...
it's think, then I'm really in trouble lately.
Oh, you're fine. Holidays,
Okay.
You don't have to think.
Yeah, I know. I've been in shutdown mode the last 2 days.
Oh, I know how that goes.
Ugh.
But this is holiday related.
Oh no.
We're going to do your top 3 New Year's resolutions, whether or not you actually kept them or would ideally like to keep one.
So here's this is how bad it is for me, because I don't make New Year's resolutions.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So are you saying if we were to make New Year's resolutions for 2019 or for 2018?
Well, it could be any years in the past, whether it was super creative and there's a good reason for it, or things that you'd like to change. You could leave it pretty open. You could be
I just want to make sure, because I'm going to be making these up anyways.
Yeah, I figured, because I know not everybody makes New Year's resolutions, but kind of, I guess a way to say it is, what are your top 3 goals? Your upcoming goals you'd like to accomplish?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I got it. No, I totally can. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, I do have goals. I just don't formalize them like that.
Yeah, a lot of people
particular schedule. So
a lot of people don't like New Year's resolutions because they tend to fail, and it's kind of like signing yourself up for failure by making a resolution like that.
Yes, but that's never mind. We will get
there's other reasons.
We will get into that debate next week, probably.
Yes, most likely. All right. Thank you for joining us this week for Top 3. Remember, you can hit us up with any of your suggestions for it. Beard's pastry suggestion I hadn't had written down, so that one's written down. And remember, everybody loves a list.